Hey everyone, and welcome back. Get ready to dive into the very latest crypto news. We're talking headlines so fresh, the ink's practically still drying. We've been scouring crypto.news, Daily Coin, even sifting through those Cointelegraph threads just for you. And of course, to help us separate the signal from the noise, we've got our amazing expert back with us. Now remember, the whole FTX saga. Well, get ready for another plot twist. It seems FTX's auditor, Prager Maris, just settled some pretty serious misconduct charges. The SEC's involved. There are whispers of misleading statements. It's giving off some major red flags. So what do you think this means for the industry as a whole? Is this just the aftershock of the FTX earthquake, or are we seeing a sign of things to come?
It's interesting you use the earthquake analogy, because it really does feel like a seismic shift in how we think about accountability in the crypto world. Think about it. Auditors are like the referees, making sure everyone's playing by the rules. This settlement, especially with the SEC getting involved, sends a strong message. Transparency and playing by the rules isn't optional, it's mandatory now.
Wow, it's like the Wild West is finally getting its first sheriff's department. But hey, it's not all legal showdowns and regulations today. In a move that warms even my cynical heart, Bitcoin billionaire Howard Winklevoss just made a $4 million Bitcoin donation to his alma mater, Grove City College. They're putting it towards get this financial education and blockchain initiatives. Talk about putting your money where your mouth is. Do you see this becoming a trend, with more institutions hopping on the crypto train?
Absolutely. This is a perfect example of the institutional interest we've been seeing lately. It's not just about individual investors anymore. Universities, big corporations, even governments are starting to acknowledge the potential of cryptocurrency and blockchain tech. This donation, while incredibly generous, is also a smart move. It's about educating the next generation of crypto users, making them fluent in this new financial system. Ultimately, this sets the stage for broader acceptance and a stronger foundation for the entire industry.
It's like they're investing in the future, not just of crypto, but of how we understand money and value itself. Okay, before we get too sentimental, let's face the music of the markets. If you're holding SquidGrow today, you might want to brace yourself. It took an 18% nosedive. Meanwhile, other coins are trying to rally and make a comeback. Is this just your typical crypto roller coaster, those ups and downs we've all gotten maybe too used to, or is there something else at play here?
Volatility is the name of the game in the crypto world, that's for sure. Remember, it's still a relatively new market compared to traditional assets. That makes it more vulnerable to speculation and news events, good or bad. While SquidGrow's drop is definitely a blow to those invested, it doesn't necessarily mean doom and gloom for the entire market. The fact that other coins are attempting a rally suggests there's still an underlying current of strength and belief in the market. It's a good reminder, though, that diversification and having a long-term perspective are crucial in this space.
So maybe don't put all your eggs in the SquidGrow basket. Got it. Speaking of big bets, Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy is at it again. They're looking to issue $700 million in new debt to buy, you guessed it, more Bitcoin. So what's your take on this? Is it a power move, showing deep faith in Bitcoin, or does it border on reckless?
MicroStrategy has been on a Bitcoin buying spree for a while now, so this latest move, while bold, isn't entirely out of character for them. They're all in on Bitcoin, absolutely convinced it's the future of finance. What's different this time is they're aiming to do this through convertible notes. Now imagine loaning MicroStrategy money, but you have the option to convert that loan into a piece of the company later on, especially if Bitcoin's price skyrockets and their bet pays off. That's essentially what a convertible note is: high risk, high reward, and only time will tell if this gamble pays off for them and their investors.
Wow, it's like they're playing high-stakes poker with the future of finance. But beyond the Wall Street bets and market fluctuations, crypto is making waves in the real world too. Case in point, Circle just flipped the switch on USDC, their stablecoin, in Brazil and Mexico. That's a major win for financial inclusion in those regions, giving people more control over their money. Can you break down why this is such a game changer, especially for everyday people in those countries?
Imagine living in a place where your local currency is about as stable as a unicycle on a tightrope. Your savings could vanish overnight, eaten away by inflation. Sadly, this is the reality for many people in developing economies. Stablecoins like USDC, which are directly pegged to the US dollar, provide a way to escape that volatility. It gives them a safe haven for their savings and access to more stable financial services.
It's like having a digital shield against economic uncertainty, which is huge for so many people. But hold on, folks, because this crypto roller coaster is taking a bit of a sharp turn. News just hit that Russia's planning to use crypto for military imports. That's a headline you'd expect in a geopolitical thriller, not necessarily in our daily news feed. So what's the strategy here? What kind of ripple effects could this have?
This is a complex situation, no doubt, with a lot of potential ramifications. We've seen Russia increasingly isolated with all the sanctions from the West, right? This move into crypto could be an attempt to dodge those restrictions, don't you think? Crypto exists outside that traditional financial system, which makes it appealing to, well, actors looking to bypass sanctions or explore financial alternatives.
It's like finding a back door around the global banking system.
Yeah.
Really makes you think about the power of decentralized finance.
Exactly. And speaking of power, we got to talk about the SEC. They're facing some serious heat about their handling of that Flyfish NFT case.
Yeah, what's the story there? What does it tell us about the ongoing struggle to regulate the NFT space as a whole?
The SEC's definitely been getting more involved in the NFT world, that's for sure. But their approach has definitely had some critics. In this Flyfish case, people are saying the SEC overstepped, trying to force NFTs into a box built for, well, more traditional assets.
It's like trying to fit a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah, exactly. And the worry is that this kind of approach could scare off creators and investors, putting a damper on the growth of the whole NFT industry. Regulations need to adapt. They need to evolve with this new tech landscape, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. So it's old rules meeting a new world, and it's anyone's guess how that's going to play out. But while regulators are busy playing catch-up, the traditional financial world, they're not just sitting on the sidelines. DBS Bank just announced that they're launching over-the-counter crypto options trading, and get this, it's for their institutional clients. So break this down for us. What's the significance here, especially for those of us who don't necessarily speak fluent finance?
This is a big deal. What it tells me is that there's a growing appetite for crypto among the major players, and they're looking for, shall we say, more sophisticated ways to get in on the action. Now, we're talking over-the-counter trading, OTC. This isn't about your typical listing on an exchange. This is about big players making big moves privately.
Okay, so it's like a VIP room for institutions to trade large volumes of crypto.
You got it. Often, they do this to avoid, impacting the market with huge buy or sell orders. And the fact that DBS Bank is stepping into this space, well, it shows me that they're seeing enough serious interest from those big clients to create a whole platform for it.
So the big money is getting more comfortable, I guess, dipping their toes into the crypto waters. But what about the rest of us? Well, Standard Chartered's venture capital arm just made a significant investment in One Trading. Now, they're a regulated crypto futures platform in Europe. So for our listeners, what's the big takeaway here?
I think this investment is fascinating because it really highlights a couple of key things that are happening in this industry. Number one, it shows that even the most traditional financial institutions see potential in decentralized finance. They're not just, dismissing it anymore. They're backing it up with their investments, choosing promising projects. And secondly, this goes back to our chat about regulations. It underscores just how important regulation is, especially for attracting that big institutional money. The fact that One Trading is regulated, well, that likely made them much more attractive to a player like Standard Chartered.
So it's like a dance almost. Regulation and innovation have to find a way to, coexist.
Exactly. And this move shows that it can be done.
It really does. Now, we were talking earlier about meme coins. It seems like that party might be winding down a bit, at least for some of the crowd favorites. Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, despite all the hype, they're down 63%. So is this a temporary dip, or is that meme coin magic starting to fade?
Meme coins, they're a fascinating phenomenon. Unlike your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, which are driven by their tech, their potential real-world uses meme coins are mostly fueled by hype. Social media trends, and let's be honest, a good bit of speculation. They can have these meteoric rises, sure, driven by online communities, celebrity endorsements, but they're also incredibly vulnerable to those shifts in market sentiment, which, let's be honest, can change as fast as a viral tweet this downturn. It could be a correction, or it could be a sign that the initial, frenzy around these meme coins is starting to fade a bit.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that a catchy name and a funny dog meme don't always equal a solid investment. But hey, let's not end on a down note, right? How about a little Bitcoin boost to wrap things up? Some analysts are predicting a Bitcoin surge, potentially pushing it as high as $90,000. What's fueling this optimistic outlook, and are you jumping on that bandwagon?
Bitcoin, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. It's the ultimate crypto enigma, isn't it? Trying to predict its price is like, I don't know, trying to predict the weather 6 months out. You might get lucky, but there's so many factors at play. That said, These analysts making these predictions, they often look at historical patterns, they look at market cycles, they argue that Bitcoin tends to have these rallies, big rallies, even after periods of consolidation, like it's taking a breather before the next jump. And they think that the current market conditions might be aligning with that historical trend, setting us up for a major price jump. But I'd say this past performance, it's no guarantee of future results, is it? There are a ton of variables that could impact Bitcoin, especially in the coming months. You've got regulatory announcements, you've got macroeconomic trends, even new tech developments. Any of those could shake things up.
It's a fascinating, if unpredictable, time to be, keeping an eye on those crypto markets.
So buckle up, right? The ride's not over yet. Speaking of unexpected players, did you hear about Bhutan? Apparently, they've been quietly building up their Bitcoin reserves. And get this, they might even be holding more than El Salvador now. What's the deal there? Why is this small nation making such big moves in the crypto world?
Bhutan's approach to Bitcoin has been interesting, to say the least. They've been steadily accumulating it for a few years now, but they're playing their cards close to their chest, being very discreet about their strategy, their holdings. Some people think they're drawn to that decentralized nature, especially as a hedge against inflation, global economic uncertainty. Others, they think Bhutan sees it as a strategic play, a way to attract foreign investment, maybe even boost their economic growth. It's a bold move, for sure, and it's all playing out under the radar.
Wow. It's like they're playing a long game of crypto chess while everyone else is focused on checkers. Very strategic. Okay, one last story before we wrap things up. Remember Caroline Ellison, the former Alameda Research CEO, caught up in that whole FTX meltdown?
I do.
Well, her legal team's requesting a lighter sentence. They're citing her willingness to cooperate with the authorities. So strategically, what do you think about this, and what could it mean for the bigger FTX case?
This is something you see a lot, especially in these white-collar crime situations. By cooperating, offering up insider information, Ellison's legal team is hoping to make a deal, provide information that helps build a case against other, shall we say, key players. I'm thinking Sam Bankman-Fried, of course, and hopefully get a more lenient sentence for their client in return. It's a gamble, no doubt, the outcome. It depends on how valuable her testimony is, and of course how the judge views that cooperation against the severity of those charges. One thing's for sure, the FTX saga, the legal drama of it all, is far from over.
It sounds like it. Well, folks, we've covered a lot of ground today, haven't we? We talked regulatory shakeups and Bitcoin billionaires making waves, meme coins maybe losing their magic touch, and some serious geopolitical power plays unfolding in this world of crypto. One thing's clear, cryptocurrency. It's not just about numbers on a screen anymore. It's impacting everything. Global finance, individual lives even. And we're really just starting to scratch the surface of what that means. So here's something for you to think about as you navigate this ever-changing world of crypto. Do you think governments, traditional institutions, are they going to try to control this decentralized power of cryptocurrency? Or will they embrace it fully? Or maybe, just maybe, find themselves adapting to a future that's being shaped by this new financial landscape right before our eyes? That's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss our next episode. We'll be exploring even more breaking news, more expert insights, and all the latest twists and turns in the world of blockchain and beyond.
Thank you once again for being part of our ever-growing On-Chain News Network community. Until next time, keep exploring the future of finance and stay curious. We'll see you in our next video.